Hey everyone, this is Patrick, and it is time for a special edition, a spooky, scary, frozen edition of Heavy Therapy. This is basically, in part, a collection update, a label spotlight, and a review of sorts of being a member of the Scream team. So, what am I talking about? Frozen Screams Imprint is an underground metal label based out of Oceanside, New York. It is ran by Johnny Frozen. He wants you to have an ice day, of course. And he also wants you to remember to love New York. So, Frozen Screams Imprint has been around for about 4 years now. They put out their first releases in 2020. Some of their early releases, some of the bands on their roster that sort of got them momentum and eyeballs and ears were early releases from Warflurch, Wretched Inferno, Ruin, Kalaya, and so forth. And some of their bigger names. Since then, I have some releases to show you from. So, by the way, we are listening to a Frozen Screams release. This is Bog Monster with Hell is Real. This is an EP. This is the Frozen Screams 21 release. And Sludgy Death Doom. Really cool shell there. 4-track EP. I believe this came out in 2021. And so, back to the story. So, early at the start of this year, I think it was in January or so, really cool artwork there. Cover art is by Jeremy Famir. Tape layout is by Death Nurse. There's Bog Monster. Early in the year, Johnny Frozen put a call out, and he said, we have 20 open spots for the first ever Frozen Screams fan club. And what you get was digital downloads of all of their 2023 releases, which is going to be 16, I believe, plus 10 tapes of your choosing. You can choose to skip a release if you don't want that tape, but you always get the digital download. And each tape will have a special fan club edition out of 20, which is just cool and fun. I took him up on the offer, and it has been a fun fan club to be a part of here at the inaugural, what probably will be an annual opportunity if he finds that this has been successful. And I find as a fan, as a paid member, that this has been pretty successful. So here's some of the propaganda you'll receive in the package. There is an ad for Iron Fortress Records, but yes, there is an ad for releases from this year of Frozen Screams Imprint. So, before he sent any tape, he sent a scary welcome package. And it is a really cool package. And also, members received a Frozen Screams t-shirt. So in that package, you got a story that was based around Crimson Pines Campground, which is the title of Blood Rage's first EP, I believe. And it was cool to read through that while I was listening to some Blood Rage on Bandcamp. Always sends a bunch of cool extra goodies. This is a specimen transport bag that has a biohazardous pin in it. I always love thinking about the USPS scanning all of these packages and being like, what is this? Should we put these people on a list? And it's like, yeah, probably, but don't. So, another greetings from Johnny Frozen. Keep it frozen as always. So let me get to the tape. So I've actually received 6 tapes so far out of my 10. I have skipped on a number of releases, but there's a couple of exciting ones coming up as well. I'm going to go through the first 5 releases that I received from Frozen Screams Imprint this year. So, first up is an EP that came out last year but was reissued by Frozen Screams. This is Frozen Blood and the Revenge EP. Frozen Blood is plays. They are from Chile, and this is some Chilean death metal. Cool white tape, limited edition out of 20. Frozen Blood. So this was originally out on Dry Cough Records. The band was formed in 2022, so they're a brand new band. It's a 2-piece. You get one person on vocals and one person doing all of the instruments, all of the instrumentals. This is old school style death metal for fans of Frozen Soul, Contaminated, and sort of if early death was played through the HM2 guitar pedal tone. So yeah, you've heard it before. Some of the influences, according to an interview with the band on this album, you'll hear is Spectral Voice, Mayhem's Death Crush EP, and Old Cannibal Corpse. And yeah, that sounds like what they were going for. So cool first release here, Frozen Blood, Revenge. And this is Frozen Screams Imprint release number 55. So they've put out a lot of releases over the last 4 years. This is actually their 4th year in business. Oops. Internet is hard, guys. Video is hard. At least I just figured this trick out. Yay. Looking like badasses there. So that was the first tape I received. Solid, old school sounding death metal. Not going to give it a rating, but definitely worth a spin or two and worth a pickup and worth checking out. Worth keeping an eye on for the future. So cool tape to own. Frozen Blood Revenge EP, originally out in 2022. Next up is a band that's also a pretty big band for this label. Though I say that, I think this is actually the first release from this label. But pretty big underground band is what I meant to say. So this is Noxious with Live at Joe's Garage. This is a live tape. Noxious is from Cleveland, Ohio. Here's the limited edition out of 20 tape. And you get 7 tracks, 23 minutes and 34 seconds of music here. The last 4 tracks features the entire EP, Expanse of Hellish Black Mire. And then the track before that is also a track that you've already heard before from them, from their split. But the first 2 tracks are brand new tracks, and they also have a new vocalist on this. So it has been a band that has had trouble keeping around vocalist. Cool recording. Some of these tracks actually sound better here than on the previous releases. This was actually mixed and mastered by Cody Davidson, artwork by Filth Effigy, and the layout itself was by Johnny Freeze from Frozen Screams. And he wanted that old VHS feel for it. You actually could get a VHS if you wanted to, which is just really cool. Live at Joe's Garage, actually Joe's girlfriend's garage. Joe is the drummer since 2021. So yeah, new vocalist Dylan plays guitar and vocals here. This is his first, I believe, his first appearance. Recorded appearance from the band. And yeah, their new stuff, their new tracks on this, the first 2 tracks sound, let me give you their names. So the first 2 tracks, Torpid Consumption and Skull Crushing Defilement, are new tracks here. And it says recorded live December 4th, 2022. The very first Noxious songs were brutal death metal, and the new songs sound like a combination of where they went and where they started. Very brutal, but still has kind of cool guitar work as well. Noxious Live at Joe's Garage. 7 tracks, 23 minutes and 34 seconds of music. That was the second release I received from Frozen Screams. Next up, perfect for spooky season. We're talking about a split, and this is a split. Look at that killer cover art. This is a split between Blood Rage and Mortuary Ghoul, and it is in fact horror worshipping death. This is Frozen Screams release number 57. Noxus was 56, and Frozen Blood was 55. All over tape shell, black, red, Mortuary Ghoul on side B, or side A is Blood Rage. So what do you get with this release? Blood Rage is a UK-based, Wales-based, old-school death metal band. They give you 5 tracks, 16 minutes and 11 seconds of music. And yeah, it's you've heard it before. Again, it doesn't stand out very much, but it is solid old school death metal. Side B, Mortuary Ghoul. They are more brutal and even kind of sounds like some gore metal. Mortuary Ghoul. This side you get 5 tracks, 10 minutes and 3 seconds of music, so shorter tracks. Almost every track on here has a sample, a horror movie sample beforehand, which is kind of fitting again for the season and for the label and for these bands. Mortuary Ghoul or Ohio brutal death metal for fans of Blemish and also miasmatic necrosis. Let me see if there's any interesting information in this J card. Again, cool aesthetic. So this says Blood Rage are a 3-piece. There are drum programming on both of these. The blood programming sounds a bit more natural on Blood Rage. It sounds pretty obvious on Mortuary Ghoul. Mortuary Ghoul is a one-person project, and it says Sonic Horror Conjured by the Mortuary Ghoul. Special thanks to Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, Pinhead, Jebediah Morningside, Ezra Cobb, Bubba Sawyer, and family. And then a shout out to the label that put it out, of course. Blood Rage, Mortuary Ghoul, cool split. About 26 minutes of music in total. Next up is one of my favorite releases from this label, period, and from this year for sure. I almost did a full review of this. This is Blemish with their debut album Omnipresence. Pretty cool aesthetics. Oops. Pretty cool aesthetic here. And this is Frozen Screams 59, so there were a couple of releases that I did not choose to receive. Blemish, what do you get with Blemish? This is, the band's from New Jersey, and it sounds like they're from New Jersey, so before this they put out a demo, a split, and an EP. And they sound like if you put Vastum, Full of Hell, Mutilatred, and Abraded in a blender, and then poured some, like, I don't know, just like white powdered substances in the mix and came out with Blemish. Crazy release. 12 tracks, 15 minutes and 28 seconds of music. The tape sounds fantastic, by the way. So no song is over a minute and 45 seconds outside a slogan cover track, which is track number 5 out of number 12. Slogan is this sort of iconic, noisy, horrifying, scary, noise electronic power violence band. Crazy that they chose to cover it, and crazy that it's the longest track on the album. And this is killer, brutal death metal, but that also shows some hardcore punk, grind, and ambient influence. The shortest song, track 7, is called Dick Briner, and it's 29 seconds. There's another Full of Hell reference point here, a similarity. They use a Werner Herzog quote clip from an interview, I believe, and this one is Werner Herzog on the stupidity of chickens, which there's an entire New Yorker interview, essay, article that he talks about how stupid chickens are, but it's fitting for the band wants you to evoke how stupid and brutal and miserable human beings can be as well. Just really cool release. Here's the tape. Here's the J card, pretty decent sized J card. There is the band. Yeah, Blemish, a cool band to check out. I really recommend checking out Blemish. Finally, for this edition of my show and part one of what's going to be two-part review of the Frozen Screams fan club. Before I wrap up, here's the kind of flyers you'll receive, the propaganda you'll receive from Frozen Screams. Here's a funny one. Love this one. Exactly. And I can say that I'm a good boyfriend and I have Frozen Screams tapes, so my girlfriend will never feel that way. A preview from some of the other releases that they put out, they're also going to put out. Some of them I will show off because I have chose them for my 10 tapes. Others ones I skipped over, but all are worth listening to. The final tape, one of the biggest bands on the label, Patirck with Wet Market EP, and you know and love this band, or you should know and love this band. They're from Monterey Bay, California, and they play some weird psychedelic death metal. Cool J card, or not J card, what's this called? Obi strip. Going to be hard to see, of course. Put it back by my head. Patirck Wet Market EP. The white shell is limited to the fan club here. Patirck play a strange style of death metal. So, and the themes, their aesthetic, their entire modus vivendi is sort of this cryptozoological. I think they were all zoology majors, but they cover cryptozoology, which is a pseudoscience and subculture that searches for and studies unknown, legendary, or extinct animals whose present existence is disputed or unsubstantiated. But I will point out that track 4 here, I really hope it shows up. Track 4 here, yeah, it's gonna be hard to see. There it is, almost. Track 4 is called Bug Sounds, but the word in quote, the word in the quote in the parentheticals is Osedax, and Osedax are these ringworms that are found deep in the ocean. They're also known as bone worms, zombie worms, or bone-eating worms, and they're little tiny millimeter-sized ocean-dwelling, deep-sea vent-dwelling ringworms that bore into the bones of whale carcasses and eat their lipids and eat their collagen and hide out and carve holes, and perfect for Patirck to cover. So they're a 5-piece with Clarissa on vocals, and Dustin is a new guitar player from Patirck, and Dustin plays guitar in Vorlust. And if you know what Vorlust sounds like, you'll recognize his guitar style, which is pretty cool. So I would say Patirck play a mix of sort of Autopsy, Vorlust, Vastum, Outer Heaven, and Exhumed all put together. And speaking of Autopsy and Exhumed, the audio was captured by Alejandro Corridor and Matt Harvey at Darker Corners in California, and then it was mixed by Greg Wilkinson of Autopsy and Brain Oil at Earhammer Studios, mastered by Dan Randall at Mammoth Sound. There's a quote on here by Thomas Malthus from Malthusian fame. It says, "It is by this principle that the vices of man taking hold in a population left unchecked, immiserated, destitute, and in want of mere subsistence, he turns to anthropophagy. In our own time we shall see the proliferation of markets out of swine, mutton, bullock, but human flesh." That's the Pygus. Cool, weird, psychedelic death metal. So yeah, check out all these releases. Check out Frozen Screams. Consider becoming a fan club member next year, because this is really cool stuff. The price is fair. You save on shipping if you are going to buy quite a few of their releases. He lets you skip and pass in case you didn't feel some of the releases, so he makes sure that you get the 10 tapes that you want. I'm a happy camper so far. So remember to have a nice day. Remember to love New York. Stay frozen, but as I always say, and it's even more important, remember to stay heavy. Bye.